Pastor Dominic Shaw was absolutely my model for Daniel. He was just, I know he had some difficulty acting, but with the God that's inside him, it wasn't a stretch. He's a very peaceful man. I've never ever seen him even get close to being upset. As a matter of fact, when some of the lines where he has some exchanges with Christy, where Daniel has some exchanges with Christy, that probably was a stretch because, you know, he had to get a little bit angry there, but still in all, he has a sense of peace about him that that Daniel has. And, you know, I don't know if I wrote about Pastor Dominic or if I wrote about this fictional character Daniel, but they meshed well, and he's absolutely phenomenal. He could have a future in Christian acting. We're not promoting that because we don't want to lose him as our pastor. Lindsay McCabe was basically another one of the times that God showed up on this project. I originally wrote the role, or thought I wrote the role, for another actress that didn't work out, and so we had to have open auditions. And you know, the night before we had those, I was in heavy prayer. Matter of fact, there were two things that I wanted. One was the homeless man. I had a very specific look and spirit in mind for that actor, and you know, I called on God to deliver that person to us, and he did. You'll see in the movie. But the other thing, and the major thing, was the actress to play Christy, because of course Christy is you know, a fallen woman, and not very nice. When you see the movie, you'll not like her within the first 2 or 3 minutes, and continue to not like her. But we definitely wanted a Christian woman to play this part, and which is totally not Christian for a good deal of the movie. So, you know, I knew it was going to take a special person and a special move of God to send that person, and Lindsay McCabe was that person. She is a bright light everywhere she goes. She was a delight. You know, there are days I miss her now that we're not working on the movie, and I just enjoy being around her. She's infectious, and she is so talented that I will say she has a career ahead of her in Christian movies, big movies. And I'm hoping with Faith and Power Pictures, as our movies get bigger and bigger, that she'll consider doing another movie for us. Mr. David Sepulveda was my Hector. I mean, his picture was in my mind when I wrote the role of Hector. He delivered it perfectly. I will say that David Sepulveda is one of the purest spirits that I've ever had the pleasure to run across, and he was the delight. He was a little reluctant to begin with too. You know, when I started talking with him about doing this, he said, "Oh no," he said, I don't do that. I've never done anything like that. Couldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. You know, just look elsewhere." And I think the Lord spoke to him too, that the importance of Hector to Daniel, you know, there would be a very important element in the story, and he was absolutely perfect. The executive producers that we had, again, it had to be the work of the Lord, because you know, we didn't have much. We didn't have the millions and millions that Hollywood type movies get, but we had enough. We had what we needed. Michael and Lynn Wilder from Fort Myers, Florida, they just are pure of heart and pure of spirit Christians that just stepped up. I mean, the Lord directed them to our project, and when at a time when we needed what little funding we had, they just stepped up. And the other executive producers, Apostle Matt Shaw and Pastor Pam Shaw, they couldn't be any better supporters of the project and encouragers, and my wife Sue was another one of the executive producers, and just was always there 24 hours a day if need be, to do whatever this project needed done, because and all the producers knew that this was a message that needed to be out. The message of Daniel's Lot to me is a message of salvation. It's, salvation can be delivered in a restaurant. It can be, of course, delivered in a church. It can be delivered at the grocery store. We're just choosing to deliver it in this form of entertainment in a movie. But salvation is so important, and that's the goal. The number one goal for me of Daniel's Lot is the message of salvation, and it's available for everybody. There's no test. There's no race, creed, color, anything. It's available for everybody. And the underlying part of that is that salvation is not complicated. I mean, we even have the one scene where Daniel is speaking to his daughters about prayer, and they even figure out how simple it is and tell him how simple it is. So that to me is the message of Daniel's Lot, that if souls can be saved by watching a movie, that beats all box office records as far as I'm concerned.